It's the Jazz Artists on the Green's 20th anniversary edition. April 5th, Farm Road, St. Joseph, 5 p.m. Tickets are going fast, so secure yours today at Island e-Tickets, Suntix Caribbean, or see Press and Facebook for ticket outlets. 20 years of jazz artists on the greens. And as always, come for the life. Discover the music.
Minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock, and let me welcome to I95 Mr. Nigel Campbell, one of the principals of Jazz Artists on the Greens that happens next
Saturday morning.
Next Saturday.
Morning, John.
Morning. How are you doing, Nigel? How are things proceeding for the big show?
This is, as I said, this is the final run, so everything is we're going full steam ahead as at this point and things. Right. So I have about 1 million meetings this morning and things, so I'm happy to be here and things. But things are going well,
right,
and fans and patrons can look forward to a good show next week, Saturday.
And in the background is the music of one of your artists that will be featured at Jazz Artists on the Greens, Mr. Lionel Lewis.
Lionel Lewis, Grammy Award winner. And Lionel and his wife, Joy Laps, they will be one of the featured artists. He's from Nevis, his parents are from Nevis. She's from Antigua. They both grew up in Canada. But he's been on our show a number of times, and now he and his wife have this thing together, so we're bringing them back down again. This is a song he had done from his last album called Coconuts, but amazing musician and thing. Trust me, fans will be in for a treat.
All right, so as you talk, Lionel and Joy.
Lionel and Joy.
Let's take in a little bit of Joy, because Joy is a panist.
She plays steel pan, plays tenor pan, yes.
And this is the combination of husband and wife, Joy Laps, and Lionel Lewis.
Lionel Lewis, yeah. Joy's on pan, of course. Lionel is on drums.
I'm loving this vibe.
There you
That's
go.
a nice vibe. That's a nice vibe.
We keep it Caribbean.
That's right.
Steel pan jazz, Caribbean jazz. Come
Joy
to Jazz Artists on the Green.
Japs and a song called Josie's Smile.
Josie Smile.
I don't know why I get the sense this about one of the children. I don't know why.
Well, actually, I think it's about her sister.
A sister?
Yeah, there's a number of
Okay.
sisters that she named. A number of the songs on her new album, Girl in the Yard, it was called. She released it a couple of years ago. And she named them other songs after her sisters and things. So this is Josie Smile. But, I mean, really innovative music and thing. I mean, what is happening out there in terms of Caribbean jazz music and things? They're, as I said, they're based in Toronto. And it's a very small community. So a number of these musicians play on each other's albums.
Right.
And it's a guy called Jeremy Ledbetter who plays the piano solo in the background right now. He works with David Rudder, and he always in Trinidad. He had a band called Cane Fire some years ago. So he's part and parcel of this kind of scene that they have there, where they find the best in Caribbean musicians, because they also have access to Cuban musicians who have moved to Toronto, and they're just keeping that Caribbean vibe alive by innovating with the jazz, and it's the ideal music for jazz artists on the greens. Come for the line,
and
discover the music. I just sell my thing.
Yeah, you don't sell anything because you jazz artists on the greens have traditionally started what is known as the jazz season in Trinidad and Tobago for a number of years. And you all have established, this is now your 20th?
The 20th edition, right? I mean, we have no choice but to move aside for Carnival, right? So we say 4 weeks after Carnival, we start our thing. So, of course, our shows, the dates vary with Carnival. But at that point, we say, let's go ahead full hard. We've been promoting Caribbean jazz from day one, when this event was when the event started. And we've been sticking to that. Of course, we've been expanding and developing and bringing new artists into the fold so that Trinidadians can get an access to a wider range of music and thing. Of course, we have merchandise and that kind of stuff. But I think we didn't set the model. I mean, the models have been come with your blanket, come with your chairs, and relax, that kind of picnic vibe and thing. But it's something that has caught on. And a number of events have grown up over the time. Blue the one in Blanchishes and people in Tobago, all that kind of people shows with similar models and things. But I think the idea of a kind of jazz picnic vibe is something that we in Trinidad and Tobago have grown accustomed to. It's not a formal thing. You don't sit down and regimentally look at things. It's a vibe. Everybody has a drink in their hand, they're dancing. And this is what we have to celebrate what we have and celebrate who we are.
I mean, and as we know, we have a number of jazz events coming up, and normally North Coast Jazz would have closed it off, but because of things we now have in June as well, so the jazz is growing in Trinidad and Tobago.
As I said,
but we're here to talk about jazz artists.
Well, I hear you, but say what?
no, I'm saying, but. Who are some of the other acts that you have?
Yeah, well, we normally have about five featured acts and things. We normally open the show that kind of pre-show. We're having Aspire Steel Band. That's Kenneth Clark from Arena. He's putting together. He's putting together. His band will be opening the show at 4 o'clock. That's a kind of pre-show. But the main stage starts with Kyle Peters.
Oh,
Kyle Peters,
guitarist. Now, Kyle Peters is a name that if you look at any soca song, in Trinidad and Tobago for the last probably 5 years, you'll see the name Kyle Peters.
DNA last year, he was a co-author and that kind of stuff, right? But the thing about it, Kyle is as a brilliant guitarist, and he has his band called Vision with a Z. He's more than just a soca guitarist, right? And he had shown me his broad range of music, and I'd say, you see this? He have to be on the show, right? So he's opening the show at 5 o'clock on the main stage, and he's working with his featured singer, Kai De Vere. I think you know who she is.
Of course I know who Kai De Vere is.
Kai De Vere. She's based in Tobago.
Because he was in Tobago last year.
Born in England. She has this English, but a fabulous singer.
Voice.
And a bluesy voice. And she can take any song and make it her own and things. So we're going to start with that. Hot and Sweaty, almost at the point. So we're going to start with Kai Peters and Kai De Vere. And then on our second stage, on our Songbirds Live stage, we're going to have Janae. Janae is from Tobago. Right, and she was on the show
before. The first time I ever saw her was on at Jazz Artists on the Green.
2 years ago, she was there, and what surprised me is that I got a phone call and she said, "Nigel, I want to do your show again." I said, "Well, yeah, that's not a problem," but she said, "Give me an offer that I could not refuse." So I said, "You know what? We're bringing her back." So we're gonna have Janae on our second stage. Janae and her band, led by Charles Ryan, and they're gonna be doing a lot of great songs and things. They're going to be doing a lot of contemporary singing. Now, Janae has migrated. She lives in England right now, right? Mm-hmm. And she's kind of making her way in that kind of English circuit. But again, a lot of our musicians and singers, they go to these major countries and major cities, and there's a little small core diaspora group and thing. So she's now fitting, and she's already done a couple of festivals out in England and that kind of stuff. Did Ronnie Scott's and that kind of stuff. So she's actually gotten better than when she was here in 2023. Wow. So we're looking for her to absolutely fabulous thing. And she has some fans, so they're very happy that she was coming back and thing. So as I said, Janae will be on our second stage, and then we move back. Lanel and Joy, they will be on the main stage once again. And after Lanel and Joy, we have Charmaine Ford.
Charmaine is
yeah, well, we had to work with the divas in Trinidad. Charmaine is one of the best female vocalists, if not the best female vocalist here locally. Many years ago, of course, we knew she had said What You Won't Do for Love, but she's been singing excellently.
She had gone to the
States. She had gone to the States, and she was doing that circuit there. Like what they kind of the corporate events where you literally, you're face to face with superstars and that kind of stuff. But a diva is one thing, but a legend in a sense, right? In terms of her jazz interpretations are excellent. And then we're closing with this show with, I think, one of the most fantastic performers in the Caribbean from Dominica. She's like a cultural ambassador, Michelle Henderson and friends.
I've seen Michelle.
Yeah.
I've heard Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle has done our show. I think the last time she was in Trinidad for our show, like 2014 or something like that, right? Or 2013. But Michelle is not a very large person, but a voice that could fill vast grounds. Huge voice. An amazing performer. She sings in Creole, she plays the flute, she sings in English, she does jazz, she could sing Chick Corea, she could sing Stevie Wonder. Amazing. All the kind of a range of music, and I think one of the most amazing singers, and I hope Trinidadians come out to support the whole cast that we have here, because it's a really, really great show. It's a whole Caribbean jazz. We've always pushed that notion, Caribbean jazz. It's the kind of aesthetic that we've been leaning towards, as opposed to just importing a retired R&B singer.
Yeah.
But we want to focus on what we have in the Caribbean, what we have in Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the famous line, "Come for the line, discover the music."
Yeah. All right, then it will be great music happening next Saturday at the Wassa Grounds.
Greens at Farm Road, which is effectively behind. Okay. It's called the Greens at Farm Road.
There's now the Greens at Farm Road.
Well, it was always the Greens at Farm Road. But
well, it was Wassa Grounds.
But it was Wassa Grounds.
I love
branding.
The branding.
Branding.
The Greens at Farm Road.
Yes.
I love it.
St. Joseph. It's St. Joseph. So that's where we will be. And as I said, gates open at 3:30. The main stage starts at 5 o'clock. Just come for 3:30. Walk with your chairs, your basket, your wine.
People come and set up and buy
and people at the posses, they do come and they walk with the tables and that kind of stuff. We also do have chairs. So if you come with the two-hand swing and you have a place to sit and that kind of stuff. We have our bar concessions, we have merchandisers, vendors. But it's an experience, and that is what is one of the things about it that we kind of want to make, because I think a lot of modern festivals are more than just simply just the music, right? So it's about having this idea of having fashion and not so much a model show, but people come and dress and that kind of stuff. Yeah,
they come out. Yeah, Trust me, folks.
So we want
if you haven't picked up your ticket yet for Jazz Artists on the Greens, where are tickets available now?
We have tickets online at Island E-Tickets. We have tickets online at Suntix. But we also have tickets available at traditional outlets. I can give you some names there.
Sure.
Cosby's and St. James, obviously. Rapworks Deli in Woodbrook and in St. Joe's and in Well, actually they're on the corner of Rosalino and the Avenue. House of Chan in Woodbrook, Celera Wines on Victoria Avenue, Digicel flagship on Independence, and we Independence Square, that is. We have House of Chan also in St. Augustine, Celera in Trin-City, Digicel in Trin-City Mall, and going down south and central, we have Medical Dispensary in Chaguanas, Rapworks again at Brentford Plaza, Digicel in San Fernando and Celera, both in Chaguanas at M6 Plaza, and in Gopalands and Marabella. So we have a number of outlets to get physical tickets. As I said, Island E-Tickets or Suntix. And for all the information, JAOTG.com. All the information is there for tickets, artists, and the experience.
All right, so once again, come for
the Lime,
discover the music. Jazz Artists on the Greens, Saturday 5th April. Show starts at
The main stage is at 5 o'clock. The pre-show at 4 o'clock. Gates open at 3:30.
Right.
And we're going into the evening.
Nice. All right. So, as usual, Nigel, nice having you here. I mean, your event has been the kind of how would we call it? The template for some others. I would say that much.
Yeah. This is my time. You have your own time.
So, again, all the best, and thanks for passing through and sharing the information.
Yes.
And
thank you for this, because as I said,
welcome.
well, we have adverts running, so you'll hear it in the background and thing. Kyle Phillips, Kai DeVere, Janae, Lana Lewis, Joy Laps, Charmaine Ford, Michelle Henderson, Aspire Steelvan. Come for the Lime, discover the music. 5th of April, JAOTG.com.
20 years and growing strong. Jazz Artists on the Greens. Saturday, April 5th. Gates open at 3:30 p.m. Show starts at 5 p.m. Don't miss a moment of Mikkel Henderson and friends. Lonnell Lewis and Joy Lapp. Charmaine Ford. Junet. Kyle Peters featuring Kyle DeVere. And much more. Advance tickets are $450 and you can learn more at JAOTG.com. Jazz Artists on the Greens. Come for the light. Discover the music.